The far reaches of an environmental catastrophe are the basis of award-winning writer Thomas Wharton's new book. He joins us this morning on its book birthday with more on the Book of Rain. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Annette.
So was there one particular thing that kind of prompted you to write this book?
Well, I wanted to write a novel that expanded the story out to other animals. You know, most novels are about people and society, and animals they either don't exist in the story, or they're on the periphery, or they're just background. And I really wanted to see, can a novel take in other species, other creatures as part of the story, and to see what that would be like.
And you do that very well, because the book starts off with a mining disaster, and this is, it kind of goes back to our never-ending demand for fossil fuel, and in the end, in the not too distant future, what could happen. So we're mining this thing called ghost ore,
Right.
and the disaster is that it creates time changes.
Yeah, it affects the environment in all kinds of ways. And I mean, it's fantasy, but at the same time, I wanted to say something about how what we do to the environment, what we do to other animals and nature, we're actually doing to ourselves. Everything comes back around eventually in some way or another. So everything's connected in ways that we often don't even think about.
Because it talks about the before time here, and although the book starts off with people, it ends, there's an entire chapter where you hear birds speak. Which is fascinating, and it's kind of very lyrical, and it's poetry. And how did you get into that kind of mindset? Where you, I know you wrote this during the pandemic.
Yeah, so I mean the pandemic, like so many other people, it had a profound effect on me. And one of the things that happened was I just started paying a lot more attention to birds and their songs, and listening to them and watching them. And so I thought, could I tell a story from a bird's point of view? And I just decided to go with that and see what happened. And if birds could talk, they might have epic poetry. They might have legends and myths and so on that they tell each other. So, it's fanciful, but it came out of that real life interest in birds, right, and other animals.
And it shows that the birds know a lot more than we do.
Yeah, well,
and that animals in general.
Yeah, they've evolved in nature and in their particular niche, and they inhabit their niche perfectly, right? They do what they need to do, and in a way they have a kind of wisdom that we don't, right? We're always messing things up, you could say, right?
Right.
In ways that other animals don't.
Because you bring in so many examples in the book of how humans have messed up the environment, and animals are adapting, and some are adapting much better than others.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you said, you told me during the break that you wanted to write a book that left readers looking at the world a little differently.
Yeah, that's really important to me. When I love books that when I put the book down, I go out into the world and something's changed. I see something differently than I did before, and so that was what I wanted to do or attempted to do with this one. Yeah.
You did it very well, because after reading the book, I'm like, now I notice, oh, I can hear birds. That's a good sign, right?
Yeah,
when you can hear the birds, and that our impact is maybe, well, it is bad, but it's the birds aren't silent, because in so many places in the book there are no animals.
Yeah, and if you take a little extra time in your day to just sort of listen or look and then look again. Birds are everywhere, right? Outside my hotel this morning, there was a sparrow that was, I think, caching food or something like that up in the light above the entryway to the hotel. So they're, even in a big city, they're doing their thing. They're with us. Yeah.
And that we really have to be very patient and very aware when we see mass die-offs of animals. We have to step back and say, that's because of us, right? So
yeah, there's a lot of animals that die in the book too, which sounds kind of awful to say, but it's
part of the lesson.
Reflecting reality.
Yeah, it's affecting reality. Okay. Well, congratulations on your birthday. The Book of Rain by Thomas Wharton is out now, and thank you for joining us. So we'll get the links up on our website, chch.com/morninglive.